Hello everyone and welcome to CourseWeaver's authoring tutorial videos for the LON-CAPA system. In this video we're going to look at creating a problem that has more than one part. This can often come in handy when we're trying to ask multiple questions about the same concept or idea and we want to group them together without repeating ourselves. Depending on our parameters, LON-CAPA offers us the flexibility to make these problem parts independent or dependent of one another. For example, we could have multiple problems on a page, but the preceding parts only show up after the first one has been completed. In today's example, our problem parts are going to be independent of one another, meaning each one is graded and displayed on its own. This will be a quick and easy way to learn how to create parts in a problem. Let's jump back into the authoring space and get started. I'm going to once again create my problem in my Practice Problems folder. I'm going to select New Problem. Let's give it a title. And once again, we're back at the templates page. I'm going to create multiple parts for a numerical problem. I'm going to choose the same one I chose in the previous video. Click Create Problem, and we're good to go. Now, creating problem parts in LON-CAPA is actually quite a bit easier if you use XML as opposed to the colorful editor. So I'm going to show you both ways. We'll start with XML, and then we'll jump into the colorful editor and see how it's done there. Let's enter the XML and get started. To get started, let's zoom in a little bit so we can better see what we're doing. Okay, I see my problem tag. I see my script block here. I see my text block here, and I see my response. Great. Now, creating a problem part in LON-CAPA is actually quite easy. We simply use a part tag. We give it an ID. Since this is the first part, I'll give it ID of 1. And then I need to close my tag. And everything contained between these two tags is going to be one part of my problem. So I've created part with an ID of 1, and then I've closed it. To create a second part in LON-CAPA, we can literally copy and paste this. Give it a new part ID, we'll call this part 2, and we're done. Let's click Save and View. Let's zoom out. And here I can see what is 10 plus 10, what is 3 plus 1. Let's see if it's working the way we like. Yep, they're both randomizing. Great! We just created a second part to our problem. Let's look at how we can do this then with a colorful editor. Before we can do that, we need to undo our changes so we can see what it would be like to start a new problem and add a part using the colorful editor. So I'm going to jump back in the XML editor, and I'm going to delete my part 2 that I created, and I'm going to delete my part tags. And so essentially we are now right back where we started. Okay, let's jump into the colorful editor and let's get started. Now, as I can see, nothing here says problem part. I'm going to need to start by fixing that. The first thing I do is I'm going to insert a marker for the start of a new part at the top. And at the bottom, I'm going to insert a marker for the end of new part. This will make sure that everything I've done so far is contained as one part of a problem. Save and edit. Okay, great. Problem part. This will have an ID of 1. Now to create a new problem part, we'll click on Insert, Problem Part, save and edit. And here we go. Problem part 2. Let's give it an ID of 2, and let's start inserting everything we need. So as part of the problem part, the first thing we needed was a script block. This is where our variables were held. And then we're going to need a text block. This is where our question will be held. And then lastly, we're going to need a response. And we were choosing response numerical. Save and edit. And okay. Great. This looks like it's added a hint here. I don't really need a hint for my problem. So we'll delete that. Okay, so now we're going to copy and paste what's in our script to our second part. Then we'll copy what's in our question to to our second part. And then we see our answer is $C. And so we'll make our answer $C. Now, even though these are technically the same, they're different because they're held in different parts in LON-CAPA. So the randomly generated variables here won't be confused with the randomly generated variables here because they're each in a different part. So let's click Save and View, and let's see how we're doing. Great. Here are our two parts. Let's see if they're randomizing. Awesome. You now know how to create new parts in LON-CAPA using XML or the colorful editor. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions, please contact us at info@CourseWeaver.com.